This is a Science 8 2017-2018 recording on the Popigai crater. You will need two things to be successful on this summative. The first thing that you will need is a copy of this article. If you do not have a copy of this article, you have this article in your science book. It's on page 236. Please turn to it now. The second thing that you will need to have is a graphic organizer that looks like this. It is called Unit Summative Project on Earth's Dynamic Systems. Please put your name at the top of the page along with the hour that you have science. Directions. The goal of the summative is to show how geological processes have shaped your geologic feature or landform. You will get 2 class periods to complete this summative. On day 1, you will complete the graphic organizer below with information about your assigned geographic feature. You will do this by researching your geographic feature using reliable and reputable websites. This is due Friday at the start of class. The first thing that you need to do on this worksheet is your landform. The name of your landform is the Popigai crater. Please write that now. So the first piece of information that we need to know is the location of this crater. So we're going to read until we find that. Russia is no stranger to impacts from space rocks. In 2013 alone, residents of Chelyabinsk felt the impact of a meteor as the shockwaves broke windows across the area. While the Chelyabinsk meteor was powerful, it is by no means the most powerful impact Russia has felt. Over 35 million years ago, the area was hit by an asteroid that was traveling at nearly 20 kilometers per second, just under 4,500 miles per hour. The asteroid was between 5 and 8 kilometers, about 3 to 5 miles in diameter, and struck in Siberia. Due to its mass and speed, the impact of the asteroid created a great force. This force resulted in enough energy to melt rock and blast pieces of Earth so far away that they landed on different continents. The impact of the asteroid created a 100-kilometer, 62-mile wide crater known as Popigai crater. As a result of the force created by this impact, a lot of interesting science happened when the asteroid hit. Scientists discovered that one consequence of this impact was the creation of the world's largest known diamond deposit. So the first thing that we noticed is that it tells you where the location of this crater is, in Siberia, Russia. So we need to write that on the opposite page. So where it says location, right here, you need to write Siberia, Russia. And if you need to know how to spell that, you need to look on your reading, which is right here. There's Siberia, there's Russia. Please write it in a complete sentence in your own words. So the next section, I want you to skip for just a minute. I want you to skip statement, and I want you to go to where it says formation. Use 3 key terms. And here what they're talking about is what are the steps in making this crater. So back in the reading, if you noticed, here's your first step right here. Basically, an asteroid hit it. Over 35 million years ago, an asteroid hit this area. So right here on step 1 of formation, right here in a complete sentence, in your own words, you need to talk about how an asteroid hit this part of Russia and it made a big crater. So the second step is right here where it says this force resulted in enough energy to melt rock and blast pieces of the Earth so far away that they landed on different continents. So this is your second step. So in a complete sentence of your own words, you need to write the second step in how this crater was made, right there. And basically what happened was you have Earth right here, and an asteroid hit, and it hit so hard that pieces of the ground melted away, and also some of the land got thrown up and thrown really far away onto different continents. So I need you to write that information on this worksheet right here on step 2. The fact that the asteroid hit the land so hard that it melted pieces of the land away, and it also threw chunks of the land so really far away onto totally different continents. So the third step in the formation of this crater is not really talked about in the article. And that is, this happened 35 million years ago, that this asteroid hit the ground and caused the crater. But the thing is with the crater is that it's smaller, and the reason why it's smaller is because of erosion and because of weathering. So you have a crater that's really deep, 35 million years ago, right? But you have weathering where it's breaking down all those rocks into small little pieces, and then you have water erosion and you have wind erosion where it's carrying those rocks and those pieces of soil and sand and moving them away and carrying them away. So then you have a crater that is actually smaller than it was 35 million years ago. And as time goes by, that crater is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So right here on formation, or step number 3 of how this crater was formed, you need to write that in a complete sentence of your own words. What is happening to the crater over time? And the fact that it's not as big because of weather and erosion. Okay, so let's go back to the statement. And I need you to write here this crater. So this crater was formed as a result of an asteroid, but the crater is not as deep as it was because of weathering and erosion. The next section that we need to talk about is defining your 3 key terms. So the 3 words that you need to define are weathering, wind erosion, and water erosion. And you need to write in complete sentences, and you need to write the definition in your own words. The last section is the written description of the appearance. So in these boxes, I'm going to describe what happened step by step, and I'm going to draw a picture. But what you are going to do is you are going to write in complete sentences what happened. In the beginning, it looked like. So in Russia, at the beginning, it was just land. There was no crater. The asteroid hadn't hit yet. So I need you to write that in a complete sentence what it looked like at the very beginning before the asteroid hit. Then it changed and looked like, so you have your land, and then you have a gigantic crater. Because what happened was an asteroid hit and caused all of that soil to melt or get thrown to different continents around Earth. So I need you to write incomplete sentences what happened to this crater and how it was created. Today it looks like, well, we know that today, because of water erosion and wind erosion, that the crater is not as deep. So you have your land, and you have a crater that's not as deep as it was a long time ago. So I need you to write in complete sentences what it looks like today, and the fact that the crater, because of weathering and erosion, is actually smaller than it was millions of years ago. In the future, it will look like. So in the future, this crater is actually going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until it's really hard to see that there was an asteroid that actually even hit there millions of years ago, because of weathering and erosion and the fact that that hole is starting to fill in. So right now what I need you to do is I need you to write a complete sentence about what is happening and what it will look like in the future. Good job, guys. That's the end of the recording.